everybody, this is Tracy here with another episode of A View from Tracy's Point. And I just want to let you guys know that I now have a Facebook page, A View from Tracy's Point. You can find me that way. And I also have a Twitter page, which is at AVFTP and the number 1. Or you can just type in A View from Tracy's Point and both pages will come up. And thanks to everybody who subscribed to the channel so far, because I now have that personalized URL on YouTube, which is youtube.com/A View from Tracy's Point. So we're here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9, Episode 11. And this episode was entitled Thelma and Louise Take Flint. So let me find out that Porsha's anger management is actually working, because there should have been some hair pulling and some jewelry popping on this week's episode, the way they came at her, about whether or not she was taking anger management and if it was indeed working. It's like, get your life, okay? And leave this woman alone before she snaps on you for real. But before we get to that part of the show, let's go ahead and get started with Phaedra's camp trip in Flint, Michigan, which was a huge success. So Phaedra and Kenya, they're going on the trip to Flint, and they decide to drive in a vintage convertible, I think it was a Cadillac, and it reminded me of a little girl, because my mom used to have this car, but I think her car was a Buick, and it was like powder blue, but it looked just like that Cadillac that they were driving in, minus the drop top. So Phaedra is supposed to be Louise, and I guess Kenya was Thelma, and Kenya has like the little scarves that the ladies used to wear back in the 50s and 60s when they were riding around in the convertible. So I thought that was a little cute touch that they had added to the show. So they get to Flint and they're at the campground, and so they go to the room that they're going to be staying in, and Kenya, she's looking around the room like, okay, this is real cute, but can I go and stay at the Marriott downtown and just meet you back here in the morning? And she's talking about how she's not accustomed to sleeping on cots like inmates, but Phaedra keeps her peace and basically lets her know that they will be staying on the campground, that they can't be all bougie and everything and think that they're better than the kids. So Phaedra says that they raised enough money to treat 150 kids ages 7 to 17 to the camp, and I think that was really wonderful, and the kids seemed to really enjoy themselves, and they also provided them with clothing and toiletries and everything that they were going to need for the camping trip. And she also paid for all the amenities like a campfire, canoeing, everything that you do at camp. They pretty much were able to do it. And so, Kenya the next day wakes up and she has them doggone puppies with her. And I'm thinking, like, you could leave them puppies with Matt for you to go on this trip, because I don't think nobody else had their pets with them. But I guess she's one of those, pet loving people that have to take their dogs everywhere, which I am not. So I really wasn't feeling that part of it. So she gives the kids, an inspirational speech about self-esteem. And she talks about how, when she decided she wanted to run for Miss USA. And so she calls the kids up and basically tells them, to explain what it is that kids pick on them about. And then she tells them, to recite this little speech with her and how to be gone with the wind fabulous. And when people are coming at you, just twirl away in all your greatness. So I thought that was cute. But Kenya, typical Kenya, but the kids seem to enjoy it. And if it helps boost their self-esteem, who can be mad at her for it? So like I said, I'm really loving the camp, and they took the kids on this boat, and the boat had like a table, and kids were sitting on each side, and I don't know if they were drinking coffee. They had like coffee mugs, but I'm thinking they may have been drinking tea. And it kind of reminded me of the paddle boats that they have here, where it's like a bunch of people on a boat, and to get the boat to move you have to paddle. But I didn't see any paddles. I think they were just sitting there talking with the girls and just giving them some inspiration and self-encouragement. So, aside from, riding on the boat and the little inspirational speeches, the kids also had a talent show. And then there was a part where the kids came up and they were basically telling about their life stories. And I was just brought to tears, because these kids are so young and they have experienced so much death and destruction. And you know, at such an early age, loss of parents and just poverty and everything, but they keep getting up every day with, you know, hope that today is going to be better. And they just, I don't know, I was so inspired that I'm about to call some organization to say, hey, you know, what can we do to take kids on, you know, a trip like that? Because we have places, you know, locally around here that we could take kids to and get some motivational speakers in to talk to them. And I just think it was an awesome and amazing thing that Phaedra did for these kids. And I'm glad that Kenya, you know, had some act right when she was there as well. So Thelma and Louise make a commitment, you know, to be at peace with each other and to rebuild their friendship. And I say Thelma and Louise because we all know when they get back in the A, that it's going to be a totally different story, and they'll probably be fighting like cats and dogs at no time. And that whole truce will be gone with the wind for real. So back in Atlanta, Porsha and Todd, you know, they're at dinner, and he lets her know that his employer had came to him and was talking about his social media page, and you know how he was at the DNC with Porsha, and then they were like on the beach or something with Porsha in a bikini, and you know he had on his swimming trunks. And so I guess they are very conservative and maybe be Republicans. So yeah, I think he did, when he first came on the show, he said that he worked in Washington. So I'm thinking he's working for some politicians or maybe some lobbyist group. But at the end of the day, the company didn't appreciate him and having this relationship with Porsha. And they basically told him that he needed to choose between Porsha and the job. And according to Todd, he chose Porsha. But then Porsha's reaction wasn't what he was expecting. And she was upset about it, you know, telling him that he shouldn't have quit his job and they're not in a real relationship. And she basically just wanted him, you know, to have a baby, and how she's looking for her house for her and her baby and not for him. And I was so damn confused by what Porsha was talking about that I didn't even know what to think. Because it's like, girl, do you want the man or do you want his sperm? Because if all you want is some sperm to make a baby, then you could go to a sperm bank and get some damn sperm. Like, why are you... This man then uprooted his life, lost his job, and you sitting here just tripping right now instead of being encouraged and thinking like, dang, you know, maybe he's serious and really wants something from this. But no, you're sitting there saying, you know, he was stupid for quitting his job. So I'm confused. I don't know what Porsha wants. Then we go over at Candy's, and her house guest has arrived. So Cynthia is about to move in, and when she lifted up the back of that doggone vehicle and Candy looked in the back, it was like, what the hell is all this stuff, girl? How long are you planning to stay here? Because Cynthia had some photos to hang up on the wall. She had her wig collection. She had a basket with some food in it. And Candy was standing, oh, she even brought her own Febreze for when she uses the bathroom. And Candy was standing there like, what the hell? Like, girl, what are you doing here? And so she said that Cynthia rolled up like she was going to visit relatives in the ghetto. Like, dang, I got cereal and Febreze. So I'm just like, okay, this is going to be real interesting. And I hope Cynthia doesn't stay long enough to wear out her welcome. So the following morning, Cynthia comes down with her box of Fruit Loops. So, you know, Candy finally lets her know that, you know, she has cereal and that she didn't have to bring her cereal. So it was really apparent that it was bothering her that Cynthia brought that cereal and the Febreze. So I don't know if Candy was feeling like Cynthia didn't think she could afford it for real, or she was just agitated that Cynthia had actually taken her offer serious and came to stay. But actually, Candy didn't offer to let Cynthia come stay at her house. She offered to let Kenya come stay at her house. So Cynthia is really imposing, I think, but hopefully it won't be for long, because Flavia, the realtor, called and let Cynthia know that the third estimate came in at $950,000. Not sure what was going on with that estimate for $640,000. So at the end of the day, Cynthia is going to sign on the house, and hopefully that closing will be in the next few days and she can move right in, because Candy ain't really feeling the house guest situation. Then we move on to Bob and Sheree. And so Bob has planned this little special date for him and his boo. And I don't know if he rented out this restaurant or if he knew the people and just asked them to open early, but it's sort of like a cabaret burlesque type restaurant, and they're the only ones there. And so him and Sheree are sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden Bob gets up and goes on the stage with his little boa feather thing and starts performing this burlesque routine. And I'm sitting there like, oh my Lord. And it probably really would have been cute, except for he was sweating again. And I'm thinking, Bob, something's going on with Bob medically that he is sweating the way he is, because even with his weight, he should not be sweating like he does. So I hope Bob gets that in check, or go to the doctor and figure out what's going on if he doesn't know already. So Sheree seems to be really impressed, you know, with what Bob is doing to get her back. And I think if Bob keeps it up, that by the time Chateau Sheree is ready to move in, that he's going to be moving in with her. And I'm not even mad about it, because I really like Bob and Sheree together. Phaedra and Kenya are back in Atlanta, and Phaedra gives Porsha a call because she saw on TMZ that Porsha had fainted at the mall. So Porsha lets her know that she wasn't at the mall, that she was actually leaving the nail salon when she passed out. And she lets us know that this is like the 5th or 6th time that she's had a fainting spell, and that the doctor said that there's not enough blood flow to her brain. Like, did you really want to tell us that, Porsha? Like, did the doctor really say that the blood isn't flowing up in your brain? Because that might explain some things. And you know, Twitter tore her up when she said that. So I don't think that that's really what she wanted to explain was her condition. But anyway, Shamia is there, you know, helping take care of Porsha. Not sure why Phaedra didn't jump in the car and come over there and see about her friend and maybe bring her, you know, a little gift or something to make her feel better. But anyway, Shamia is there on friend duty, and she's like trying to get Porsha to hang up the phone on Phaedra, but you know, of course, Porsha won't do that. So Shamia goes downstairs, and the doorbell rings, and it is Todd. So Todd had brought some ice cream and balloons, you know, to make his boo feel better. But Portia's still on 10 about him quitting his job, and she's not making him feel welcome at all. And then she explains that I guess she was at Todd's place a couple of days earlier, and she was tired, you know, because she's working hard and she got all this stuff going on, and she just wanted to get some rest and go to sleep. But then Todd was doing the bump, you know, when they like nudging up to you at nighttime, meaning that they want to have sex. And so she got mad, and they got into an argument, and so she left, and she said that they hadn't spoken in a couple of days. And I'm really not understanding Portia's whole thing about Todd quitting the job, because if he's not asking you for money, if he's not asking you to pay his bills, if he's not asking to move in with you, Porsha, what difference does it make if he quit his job and he's looking for a job? So it sounds to me like you really don't want the man, that you just want to have his baby, which I think is really messed up on your part. But hopefully, you know, Porsha will come to her senses, and if she really likes this man and he really likes her, that she will be supportive and give him a chance, because I really don't think that the man quit his job and didn't have any money in the bank. He just doesn't strike me as that type. But anyway, not understanding what's going on with Porsha right now, but hopefully they'll get it together. The other reason that Phaedra had called Porsha was to let her know that she had decided to get all the ladies together for dinner, because she wanted to talk to them about the Flint trip. So we move on to the scene where they're at the restaurant, and Phaedra lets everybody know that they had such a great time at the camp. And, you know, it was just so moving that she's decided that she wants to take them all camping. And I guess maybe they can work on some of their issues and everything, when Miss Kenya decides to bring up the fact that Phaedra had told her that Porsha wanted to talk to the ladies about her anger management class and let them know how everything was going. And Porsha was like, pump the brakes, because I never said that, and I don't owe any of you all an explanation. So then all of a sudden, you know, here comes Kenya, you know, she's being rude and disrespectful, and Phaedra's trying to say, you know, I didn't tell you that, and she's basically telling Phaedra to shut up, that the only person she wants to hear from is Porsha. And I was just really impressed with the way Porsha handled the situation, because I think it ended up being Kenya, Cynthia, and Candy was just like coming at Porsha like she owed them an explanation as to what's going on in her life. And I'm just like, if Porsha had came across that table and knocked the hell out of both Kenya and Candy. I would not have been, any other time I would have been mad because I don't advocate violence. But had she come across that table on those two on this particular episode, I would have been team Porsha all the way. And so Porsha, she's basically like, I never said anything like that. I don't owe you guys an explanation, what's going on in my life. And, like I say, Candy got all into it. Like, well, are you going to anger management and is it working? But she's like on 10, just being very aggressive towards Porsha, which, I don't know, Candy's just being very ghetto this season. I don't know if it was written in her contract that now she needs to bring the drama now that Nene is gone. But it's really not a good look, Candy. I just want to let you know that. It's not a good look at all. So you guys know Kenya just like really gets on my damn nerves, and I was screaming at the TV like, girl, why don't you go worry about your boy toy, and if you want to get aggressive with somebody, go get aggressive with Matt, and figure out why he's kicking in your garage door windows and threatening you and whatever the hell else you claim that he's doing to you. And then Candy, it wasn't even your fight, your argument, so you should have just shut up and sat back. But of course, you want to come at Porsha for whatever reason. And so, Porsha, I think you did the right thing by just getting up and walking away from these clowns. And why Kenya felt the need, like I could see Phaedra and Sheree going after Porsha to try and calm her down and make sure she was okay. But Kenya, what was the purpose of you getting your ass up going down them stairs? I will never know. And so they're basically like running after Porsha. She's trying to go find her car because they probably had valet parked. So she's, running down the street trying to get her, well, not running, but walking fast down the street, trying to go find her car, and then Sheree, Phaedra, and Kenya are coming behind her, and Phaedra is basically telling Kenya to go back, that, it's not a good time, that she doesn't need to be involved, and just let her talk to Porsha. So they finally catch up with Porsha, and she's basically like, she doesn't owe anybody an explanation and that she's just going to leave. So Porsha gets in her car and she, speeds off. And so now the women all get together and they're basically turning on each other. And Kenya comes with some, I know for a fact that Sheree has been in a domestic violence situation. And I'm just like, what does that have to do with anything? And then she can never tell you who said what or who it was that hit Sheree or anything. Just basically, I know for a fact. Well, is it a fight, Kenya, because you got up and made it up yourself? Like, stop throwing stuff out there to just cause issues. So I think earlier, before Candy and Cynthia came down, when they were standing there talking to Porsha, or maybe Porsha had walked off at this point, but Sheree was basically telling Kenya that, she was instigating everything and provoking Porsha, I guess, hoping that she would like get into a confrontation with her, but Kenya can never see anything that she does that's wrong. So by the end of the whole night, Phaedra got Porsha to come back. So then when Porsha comes back, then Cynthia, Kenya, and Candy, they all want to jump in their cars and leave. But you were the ones that started all the mess. But now you don't want to talk about it or work it out because y'all got things to do. So they haul tail. So then Porsha, Phaedra, and Sheree decide to go back upstairs and talk. And Portia's not going to let Phaedra slide this time, because when they get back upstairs, she basically says to Phaedra, I need you to explain to me what Kenya was talking about. So Phaedra trying to do her little fast talking, but Porsha was like, let's keep the main thing the main thing. I need you to explain to me what Kenya was saying when she said that you told her that I wanted to get the girls together and talk about my anger management. And she was like, I don't want to talk about anything with Kenya or these girls. So pretty much, keep my name out of your mouth when it comes to these women, because they're not getting in my business and I'm not explaining anything to them. And I was like, good for you, Porsha. And Porsha said when she got dressed for the night and put on her all black, including her black hat, that she had no idea that she would be burying her relationship with these women, because she's dead to this whole situation and she doesn't have time for these fake ass, girlfriends. And so I was like, all righty now, Miss Porsha. So what do you guys think? Is Porsha's anger management working? I think so, because Kenya deserved to get knocked the hell out this particular episode. So leave your comments below, and don't forget to rate the video and subscribe to the channel. And all options are down below to subscribe, to rate, and to comment. So until the next time, I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Love you all. Bye-bye.